So today was a tough day in the world of CEO, me in particular. Um, you know, I've been in business 20 years, employing people for 20 years, and I've seen a lot, known a lot. One of the things that I know about business is it takes time for you to get it. I don't care how good your product or service is. Your business is not just built on how good your product or service is. It's built. Your success of it is going to be conducive to everything built around it, right? So it could be your price, it could be the way you deliver it, your offering, the team you choose, your location, where if you're brick and mortar, all that kind of stuff. Over the past 2 decades, what I've seen is a metamorphosis of the new era of things ushering into the market. When I say new era of things, I'm talking about like um, a new culture, new way of doing things, expectations. Like you gotta be able to adjust with the times, evolve, shift, that kind of stuff in order to stay in business. And in this world of rapid information, that also can bring some issues or challenges to business. Primarily like what I'm doing right now, right? So I can just, set up a channel and go straight to the market, and I can share my opinions, my ideas, and those things spread out into the market, whether good or bad, right? And that's just how it is. That platform also gives way to, or that dynamic gives way to, um, it's just an amplification of everything. So amplification of good, bad, opinions, fact, whatever a person is made of, or whatever a situation is made of, is just now amplified. It's not screened. It's just like straight to market, right? Um, the gatekeepers now become the owners of these platforms. They're the ones that their algorithms or whatever determine what makes it to the market. It's no longer like necessarily like a team or human beings or whatever getting stuff to the market. And that's just what happens. You know, in business, you're not going to be able to satisfy everybody. And I know in the past 20 years, the more we've grown, and we've grown significantly right after the pandemic, those kind of things happen. Um, you're not able to satisfy everybody, but the bigger you get, the bigger that crowd gets too. Those that are dissatisfied. And the dissatisfaction can come from whether it's my fault, the business's fault, or maybe misunderstandings. It can come from whatever, but dissatisfaction is dissatisfaction, right? And what we choose to do with that tells the tale. What I've been learning in business as well is like your business is really tied to a lot of things. Like there's really sometimes businesses really succeed just because of the right timing. It's lightning in a bottle, that kind of stuff that you can't even recapture it. Like sometimes, like you got successful people that are successful now, that if they were to start now, they would not be as successful simply because of the market timing, their thing. Think about maybe like artists, entertainers. They made it big in the 90s, early 2000s. They were able to take that money, and that money enabled them to be able to stand the test of time, because now they have the money. They can invest in certain things that can kind of keep them moving right along if they did the right things with that money. But if they had to start now and try to organically succeed without that money already in place, they wouldn't be able to do it. That's just a fact, how it is, right? When rules change, things change, dynamic change. And we're in the era right now of participation trophies. Like we're in the era of everybody who participated should be revered. And if you're not revered, there's a problem with those who didn't acknowledge your efforts, right? Like my daughter right now, she's learning to drive, and I'm teaching her how to drive. And The other day she was driving and she pulled into the parking lot, and I said, "You need to check. I want you to get out the car and check how you park." And she got out, and the one side of the car, the driver's side, was over the parking line, over the line for the parking space. And she was like, "Oh, it's not too bad. It's pretty good." And I said, "Stop. Don't tell yourself it's pretty good. You're out of the space. Keep yourself in reality so that you can make yourself better. Don't just arbitrarily be patting yourself on the back, because you'll never improve. You'll never improve. You're just gonna be finding ways to pat yourself on the back." And that's the way I try to teach her, because she didn't even like debate with me, but before she would have. Early, when I really first started teaching her, and I would tell her that's not good, she would, "Why are you being negative?" And that's kind of like the era we're in, right? And we're in the era of just blast people, be the victim, and not stay within our reality. And today was one of those days that I'm like, you got situations where you're trying to help people learn to drive. Much of my businesses is dealing with entrepreneurs that are first-time entrepreneurs. They're first time trying to get their license. And a lot of times they want to criticize the instructor. They want to criticize the instructor who's been driving for 30 years. And their criticism is well received just because we welcome the criticism. We don't stop to say, "Okay, but listen, how long have you been in business? How much do you really know?" And if let's just say, if they're right, what do we do with it? Do we just take it to the market? Or do we say, "Listen, that's not how we should handle business. Let's keep it amongst the family, because we don't have enough good drivers in our community that we have the liberty to be out there criticizing the good drivers that we do have." And we've been like conditioned in our society to be hard on our community. We were brought here enslaved Africans. We were publicly flogged. We were publicly criticized. We were publicly ridiculed. And that conditioning and that culturization is what became acceptable. So now we have it where we're walking around in our community, and people from other communities they have the right to stop us and criticize us. "Why are you here? What are you doing here? Why are you making so much noise? Show me your ID. Should you be in this pool? Should you?" Like, it becomes this thing that it's acceptable to just knock our own community, right? So I'm looking at, like, and y'all may want to crucify me for this, but I'm the entrepreneur's professor, and I gotta speak straight. What's going on with Diddy right now is wrong with what he did. He should be punished. But I'm seeing a lot of people jump on the back. He should be punished. But I'm seeing a lot of people jump on the bandwagon of knocking him down, this public flogging. But at the end of the day, we don't have enough legacies in our community to be vilifying the one few that we have. It's only 12 billionaires that are black in this world. In this world. Out of the 2,000. He's one of the richest men in the world, men or women. One of the most powerful entertainers in the world. He's achieved quite a bit for us. He's helped more than he's hurt people. I don't care the long list of victims that he has. He's helped more. And we are fast to jump and stomp him down. He may be wrong. We don't know yet, but if let's just say he is, because I'm not defending whether he's right or wrong. But how do we handle someone in our community? Do we jump on with everyone else and do that? Meanwhile, handle it the same way. They don't handle it the same way. So, me being a student of business and entrepreneurship, and I'm constantly reading, constantly learning, and being a teacher of it, it is not just about having a good product or service. It's about how we handle ourselves in a community. It's also about how we deal with each other in our community. We should not be allowing the good ones that we have to be publicly stomped out. And, if you look around, this is like a massive support. This is like Malcolm X. Like, I'm a believer of this stuff. That's, I don't know if I can show that. That's Dr. King back there. Malcolm X is passing him the ball. And I got Bob Marley up there. And I got, um, Muhammad Ali. And, like, I honor the greats because it's not a lot of us, right? Not a lot of you either in your community. How do we handle these things? And I've been trying to teach entrepreneurs constantly that it's not many of us that are successful, that actually can uh, employ others and pay taxes. I've seen people put their kids through school, buy homes, do all kinds of stuff, working for my businesses. And I've um, seen other businesses we've helped go on and do the same thing. But what I do know is I've seen businesses fall like dominoes because who they were doing business with caused a problem for them. And that problem that business they were doing business with caused them to go down. And that business took down a bunch of other people. It's like collateral damage. It's like the stray bullet. And if we're not handling things properly, that's what we're going to see a lot of. We're going to see a lot of businesses just not make it. And those same people that are stomping on Diddy or stomping on the ones that were once up and could once be up are going to be the same ones that stomp on you. You're trying to be a successful entrepreneur. You got to be cognizant of not stomping on successful entrepreneurs, even when things get tough for them. Because that energy you put out can become reciprocal. It's like a boomerang. You don't know what caused the failure of them delivering a product or service to you. The response is not to run off and go and publicly flog them, because you don't really know what all has been taking place for them to maybe come up short with you. And I protect a lot of entrepreneurs. I protect a lot of entrepreneurs. I've let a lot of entrepreneurs off the hook, people that we try to help, because I often look at them like I said, I got 2 decades at this, and I look at them as like babies, like God like protects babies and fools. And I look at them sometimes and I'm like, they're trying to get over on us, or they got over on us, kind of let them go. But then it's like the red ants. We call them red ants. You guys maybe know them as fire ants. You got one that bites you, and you let it go. But then when too many of them start biting you, it's like you're prone to destroy the nest because it's too many. But you can only let so many of them bite you. And that's how I feel today as a CEO. I've seen people burn us internally as employees. I've seen people burn us as entrepreneurs that we're helping clients, whatever. And it's our community that does that. You won't find anywhere on the internet or publicly where I am knocking down another entrepreneur, whether I did business with them directly or not, because what I do know, it's only a few of us. It's only a few of us to be proud of. And whatever issues we have, we need to work that out. But when we have maybe the selfish mindset, the instant gratification mindset, which often is like a baby. And if you're a new novice entrepreneur, you're considered a baby at the game, at the art. That's what you're gonna feel. And others around you who may not have entered into that space may encourage you. Oh, you should do this, or you should do that. There's nothing more that I want in this world than to help and lift every entrepreneur that I touch. Sometimes it's difficult depending on the constraints or the environment to make that happen. But there's nothing more that I want more than to leave the legacy of someone who lifted and helped every entrepreneur. I don't do a whole lot of social media, speaking, talking, whatever, because I'm doing a lot of doing. But today was one of those rough days in doing. And I would wish that I'm doing a lot of doing. But today was one of those rough days in doing. And I would wish that we all would come together and not publicly flog. And I'm out.